My name is Karen Van Barneveld. I wrote about toxicity in food and the environment and the need to eat organically in my book, God Made Organics, Not GMOs. I'm a grandmother of 13 and great-grandmother of 3. Sadly, I've lost 2 of them directly related to addiction. And when this picture of Jennifer was taken, I can see that was when she was already getting high.
Yeah, her true heavy addiction started when she injured her wrist and she was prescribed opiates. But when she was taken off the pain pills, she still had pain, and she was buying heroin. Then it was shooting heroin, and it progressed very quickly.
Sometimes I feel like Jennifer was a real catalyst for a lot of what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
The modalities that they use here at the sanctuary for addiction and recovery are so much more holistic, and it just makes so much more sense to me to treat the whole person, not just the addiction. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do a documentary about addiction and recovery, I have to go to the sanctuary. You've told me that all of the food here is organic. Why do you think that that's so important in keeping addicts in recovery?
Food is medicine.
It is.
If there is now tons of peer-reviewed scientific journals that say that what you eat affects how you feel. It's indisputable.
Yeah.
Inflammation is something that we've heard a lot about. Inflammation is always present with anxiety and depression. And what's interesting is now they're finding out that inflammation happens first. Mm-hmm. So inflammation is upstream from depression and anxiety, so it's causal. If we look at people that are in recovery, food is the thing that I have at my control, that I can decide how I'm going to feel, and it has a direct influence and impact over my life.
We like serving fresh, seasonal, vibrant meals. We also tend to focus on whole food, plant-based nutrition, and we feel like these are the foods for ultimate recovery.
Everybody has a hard time with the food on the way in because they don't believe it. They've been taught that healthy food doesn't taste good. They're addicted to toxic food the same way that people get addicted to alcohol or cocaine, and when they don't have it, they crave it.
Sometimes it's their first time actually being nourished. It's their first time having whole food.
Well, how do you address people not wanting to buy organic?
In order to genetically modify the food, I have to introduce a pathogen, a toxin. I have to trick the plant into thinking that it's sick. So we're introducing a plethora of chemistry into our bodies, all of which affects our mood. The reason that people relapse is because they never, A, resolve the things that's bothering them, and B, they never feel great.
So as an addiction therapist for many, many years, I saw people misusing food with eating disorders, but also when they would pull away from their drug of choice, a lot of times food would then replace that. And now I use nutrition to help decrease cravings, decrease the detoxification side effects. Statistics are up to 38% less relapse when we eat really well.
So, Chrissy, what were you eating before you got here?
Predominantly Oreos and Doritos with a liberal serving of vodka.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember when I came here the first time, I was looking at the staff members, and everybody's faces were really clear and their eyes were really bright. And I remember looking at it and be like, what are all these people taking? Because there's no way this is natural. Yeah. And when I left, I remember looking in the mirror and being, oh my God, that's the look. I was super proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not gone back to my Oreo habit, so that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
What would you kind of estimate what the number of clients that maintain their sobriety versus
About
others?
80-odd%. And people want to feel well, and they'll tend to do the things that are making them feel well. Most people don't come to addiction because they perceive they're in pain. Most people come to addiction because they take a drug and all of a sudden they feel better. But the food is it's the thing that people can do, and I have a direct relationship with it.
When people make a choice to eat well, not only does it improve the physical, the psychological, but it also, to me, is a great way of saying 3 to 5 times a day, this is my value.
I wish that my grandchildren could have found something like this, and particularly my granddaughter that passed.
I think if she had known that nutrition could make her recovery much easier, that she probably would have used it.
Oftentimes when people come into a recovery center, they are eating so poorly, and what they are eating is usually limited to things like junk food. And they go long periods of time without getting any food into their system at all. And by the time they come into treatment with us, they're in a pretty bad state.
In recovery, there's a phrase that's commonly used, you put down the spoon but you pick up the fork. Because you go so long without eating that when you get clean and you just want to eat and eat and eat.
When patients come to me with an addictive issue and we put them on a good, organic, gluten-free, GMO-free diet, we see dramatic changes in their health.
By the time they leave, they're thinking more clearly. They are feeling like their body has the energy in it to do the things that they want and need to do to maintain their sobriety.
We don't get to choose whether we're an addict. That happens. We get to choose how we get to live. We get to choose how we get to be in recovery, how we get to heal, and to be able to document that, I just can't tell you how exciting that is for me.
So I have this idea to do a documentary, picking up some participants in the local area who are in recovery and changing them from processed and GMO foods to organic foods and supplements and following them for 90 days.
I'll be there with you.
Awesome. I feel like my daughter is pretty excited about what we're doing in this documentary. It doesn't go away, it never goes away. That loss, it's always in your heart. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. If we can help one person, it doesn't have to be my family, it can be any family, then this is all worthwhile.